we had another 2 hours before the kids came back home. And, I wanted her to be Jessica Jones, and I was supposed to play Luke. And she was like, well, you're not dressed like him. And I was like, no, I got my hoodie on. And she was like, no, I want the yellow shirt. Oh, what's up, y'all? Welcome to The Lounge. I'm about to do my Luke Cage review, so I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. Spoiler ahead.
You count calories, power man?
Fork will kill you quicker than any bullet. Can't save everybody.
You're wrong about that. What would have happened in my life if people gave up on me? I was no angel. No, I was a beast.
So what happened?
We got popped. Wilfredo went from selling crack to smoking crack. I got caught with a gun and a bag of money, kept my mouth shut, went on pause for 10 years. My woman was pregnant when I went in. I haven't seen her or my son since he was 13. I have this nightmare that one day he's gonna come to the shop, ask for a cut, sit in my chair, and I'm not even gonna know him.
As I've been thinking about masculinity of late and how it needs to be redefined and evolved from the toxic shit knot of hypocrisy and contradictions it is now, a lot of powerful and positive things in the new Marvel TV show, Luke Cage, caught my eye. I believe one of the tasks of the show's runner, Cheo Hodari Coker, seeks to raise from the muck of stereotypes and racist assumptions is what the hell the black community is and what it was and what it could be. I see the character Henry Pop or Pops Hunter, a former roughneck and hood in Harlem of early 80s, now a mentor and father figure widely respected by not only the patrons of his barbershop, but even the modern-day gangsters, as a great example of a reimagined paternal figure. Unlike the current imaginations of black fatherhood today, see the black father of Fox's Pitch, who slaps his son to get the lead character to pitch the balls that he wants, or the oafish man boy, Dre Johnson of ABC's Blackish. Pop sees potential in everyone around him and shows a sense of obligation to protect all of the people in his community that he surveys. From the son of one of his former running buddies whose life is in danger, Pops is nearly in tears and at the same time ready to strangle the boy upon Luke Cage finding him for Pops. To having pride in a neighborhood girl who becomes a highly skilled detective, that would be Misty Knight, and finally taking a stranger in that his young relative had married and brought to his doorstep by adopting him like a son. That would be Luke Cage. I believe one of the chief responsibilities of any parent is to instill a sense of responsibility and accountability, in other words, leadership, for the community their child is born to. I see Pops' role with all of these characters, but especially with Luke, who, unlike everyone else, knows that Luke has superhuman abilities. And he, like any parent knowing that their kid is exceptional, nags Luke to live up to being a potential leader as Pops was trying to be. So far, we have not seen what gives Luke his powers, but instead, in the first 3 episodes, we see an origin story of a different kind. Luke becoming an adult, a departure from being the barbershop sweeper, trying to keep a low profile due to a dark past and trying to stay out of trouble, to finally gaining a sense of responsibility to become a leader after the tragic events of episode 2. The transformation of what Luke makes, besides acting as a superhero, is to become a community leader. The comic. I never liked the old Luke Cage comic book. I mean, you had this dude in a tight yellow shirt, unbuttoned down to the navel, matching yellow knee-high boots, a silver headband, and a damn junkyard chain around his waist. His code name was Power Man, and despite the fact that I was like 6 or 7 at the time, I didn't find him appealing as a reader, even though I wanted to see more black superheroes. Besides, I was all about Black Panther, even though he was a limited feature in Marvel's Jungle Action and made occasional appearances in the Avengers. My mother encouraged me to keep buying Power Man, though, because according to her, if I didn't, Marvel would think black superheroes could not sell, and therefore they may not make any more. So I bought them, but didn't read them. In retrospect, I wish that I had read those comics, knowing how I am now. I would have enjoyed the combination of unintentional campiness with gritty urban noir and the superhero genre. It turns out that the very stuff I didn't like about that corner of the Marvel Universe, where Luke Cage and Daredevil comics took place, is actually cool to me now at my present age. Now on to the TV show. I do like it. Just as Daredevil, the TV show grew on me. As I mentioned before, I didn't like Daredevil's comic either. And I had come to like Jessica Jones, where Luke Cage made his debut, with her show's events taking place a few months before where his series picks up. I love seeing Harlem throughout the show, and you could see that Cheo is trying to give us a bit of a revision of the neighborhood by stitching together current-day Harlem with moments captured from Harlem's various pasts. For instance, there was a scene that takes place in Cottonmouth's larger-than-life club, recreating the vibe of Harlem's nightclub heyday, back in the Jazz Age. As we get the living, breathing landscape of Harlem as the backdrop of the show, we also get a hybrid 70s blaxploitation funk and RZA-inspired music score composed by Ali Shaheed Muhammad of Tribe Called Quest and Adrian Young. We are also treated to dialogue between Luke and Pops as they compare classic and modern black writers, and they make references to the Harlem Renaissance period. You also get times when Luke mentions black leaders. Now, elements of the show like this are unapologetic and have caused great cries of fear and triggered responses from the internet's racist white drag boys to accuse the show of being too black. The cast so far is tight and seems to have strong women characters, and I love that they made sure to have strong representation of Latino and Asian characters as well. I always liked Misty Knight in the comics, and she did have her own stories where she was a lead along with Colleen Wing. Maybe I should fucking write a pitch to do a Misty Knight show. I have a few caveats that got to me. The dialogue at times can be corny, as it was in the comic book series back in the 70s. I do believe that that is what Cheo wanted, but I found it annoying. The nightclub scene showing the live acts was another thing for me that just kind of got to me. Again, I get what Cheo is going for, the kind of diverse scenes that you see from old Oscar Micheaux movies or even 70s blaxploitation films where between action scenes and drama scenes you get some live music performances. That shit was actually boring to me. It just wasn't my thing, and I felt like it was a bit indulgent. So that's really the only problems that I have with the show so far. A lot of people complained about the slow pace of the first 2 episodes or lags here and there. I actually like those because we are often sold a black people in film and TV as hyperkinetic, either only being funny or only fighting, as if those are the only 2 ways we can see them. I like that there are times where we see Luke making deep observations about the people around him or people of color just simply talking about something deep or outside of whose ass needs to get kicked next. The cast consists of very talented artists. Simone Missick as Mercedes Misty Knight, Mahershala Ali as Cornell Cottonmouth Stokes, Alfre Woodard as Mariah Dillard or Black Mariah, Cottonmouth's cousin, Theo Rossi as Herman Shades Alvarez, and of course, Mike Coulter as Carl Lucas / Luke Cage. Rosario Dawson will reprise her role as Claire Temple from Daredevil and Jessica Jones. I have still not watched the full first half of the season of the show, but I like what I see so far, and I do hope it will get better. Until next time, this is the Garage Autonomist.